Today I'm going to be talking about the Abasi Concepts Larada Legion 6 in Austrian White. But as you can see, I don't currently have the guitar with me. Now you may be asking yourself, well, why don't you have the guitar with you? Well, it's because I sold it in August of this year, 2023, to Sweetwater. I bought the guitar last year in June of 2022, and by the time I chose to make a review on it, it was like a day or two before I was going to Sweetwater to sell it. So I didn't want to stress myself out making a review. I was like, I'll just make it later. So here's the review of that guitar because I had it for a little over a year. First, I'm going to share the specs on the guitar, and then I'm going to talk about what I liked and didn't like about the guitar, and then I'll share why I sold it and a couple of options that I considered before getting that guitar, and then we'll wrap up with some sound clips that I had recorded before letting it go, and we'll close from there. Just as a quick side note before we get into the video, yes, I know I don't have it anymore, but I had it for a little over a year, like I said, and I also still have my 8-string, so if you have any questions about that guitar, please feel free to let me know in the comments. But now let's continue into the video. So let's get right into it, and we're going to start out with the specs. Starting with the body, we had a basswood body with a wenge neck that had a thin U neck profile. It had an ebony fretboard with a 25.5-inch scale length, 24 extra jumbo stainless steel frets, and a 12 to 16-inch compound fingerboard radius. At the headstock, you had Abasi locking tuners, and at the bridge, you had a Goto 510 floating tremolo. The hardware was black, and you had two Fishman Abasi signature pickups, and it had a 5-way pickup selector switch and a push-pull volume knob, and there was no tone knob. It did not have lumen lay side dots either, but I'll talk about that later in the video. Now, real quick with the neck, I mentioned that it had a thin U neck profile, and I know the Ibanez Wizard neck is like the staple when it comes to thin necks. Without being them next to each other, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one was thinner, but I've played both, and both of them felt really thin, but I was comfortable playing both, and my hands aren't the biggest. I wear a size medium when I'm wearing gloves, but I will say that the neck on the Abasi seemed thinner than what was on my Fender Player Telecaster, which had a modern C neck profile. Just as a quick side note, I wanted to address that guitar is kind of similar in this regard, where it had one volume knob, no tone knob. The volume knob was push-pull, and it also had a 5-way pickup selector switch, just like on this guitar. The main difference is this one has a fixed bridge. That one has a Goto 510 tremolo and is not multi-scale. But real quick, the push-pull knob, what it does is Fishman pickups have voices. So voice 1 is with the knob down. So you have your bridge, and then you have in the middle position, you have both pickups, and then in the neck position, you have the neck position. If you pull the volume knob up, you have voice 2, which is passive. So voice 1 is active, and again, it's neck, middle, and bridge, but you have voice 3 in the 2 and 4 position, and I don't quite remember what they mimic, but I think it's like a telly middle position and a strat middle position, or one of the in-between positions on a strat. I don't fully remember, but I just wanted to quickly go over that because I didn't initially talk about it in the recording, so I apologize. So what were some of the things that I really liked about the guitar? Well, I'm going to use my Abasi 8-string for reference so you get a better idea, but look at the carves on this thing. It's got this nice carve here where I can play in a more classical seated position, and I really appreciate this because while playing like this with this guitar is actually pretty comfy, that's not really how I prefer to play. So I really appreciate having this carve here so I can play it again in a more classical playing position. Additionally, I appreciated how lightweight and balanced the guitar felt, so I didn't have any issues with playability or anything like that. It didn't feel like I was fighting the guitar, and the frets were nice and level, the fret ends were smooth, and the wenge neck was amazing. I loved that wenge neck. So what were some of the things I didn't like about the guitar? Well, starting out, this is going to sound a little weird because I actually like it on this guitar, but the upper horn here, if you will, it goes pretty much to the 12th fret, and it's a big horn compared to other guitars. So if you're someone that likes to wrap your thumb around the neck all the way up, you're going to have to adjust your playing style because obviously once you hit past the 12th fret, you're going to have to tuck your thumb behind. Now, I will say this one's a set neck, but the Legion is a bolt-on, and I will say that I had no issues reaching the upper frets on that guitar, but you're not going to be able to wrap your thumb around the fretboard again, as I had mentioned. So that was one thing. And again, I know I said I appreciate it on this guitar, but for some reason I didn't really like it as much on that guitar, but that's just a personal preference thing. Another thing to note, which isn't a big deal to me, but it might be to you if you play in a dark room or if you play on stage or something like that. I don't, so this wasn't an issue for me. It does not have lumen lay side dots, and this guitar doesn't either. But if that's something that you're looking for in a guitar, just know that it doesn't have that. And my biggest gripe with that guitar, and actually it's my biggest gripe with this guitar as well, is the pickup selector switch location. It's right here, and because of the way that I strum, I end up bumping it a lot, and it's just not really my cup of tea, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I think that guitar was a great guitar and I would highly recommend it, but it's just something that you should be aware of if you kind of have like a wild strumming arm. But give it a go, see if you like it for yourself, and you decide if you like it or not. So now for the question that you may be asking, why did I sell the guitar? Well, ultimately, this is going to sound kind of harsh, but it's no slight against Abasi Concepts at all, because I love their designs and I would love to get another Abasi guitar in the future. But when I saw the guitar sitting on my stand, I didn't really feel compelled to play it. However, when I did pick it up, it was really hard to put down. So that's just a personal preference thing. It wasn't really speaking to me. Objectively, the guitar was a great guitar. It sounded great and it felt super comfortable to me. But again, it wasn't really something where I saw it and was like, wow, I really want to play that guitar. Before I got that guitar, I was also looking at a couple of other options as well. So primarily the Strandberg Plany Edition, which I now have, but also the Schecter Aaron Marshall signature guitar. And at the time, that guitar wasn't released and I didn't know when it was coming out and I didn't want to wait. So that's why I got the Abasi 6-string. So ultimately, I sold it because I wanted to go for a guitar that I really wanted. And that's not to say, again, that there was anything wrong with the Legion 6 guitar. It was a great guitar. It was just something that wasn't really inspiring to me. But I do highly recommend you check one out if you're interested in Abasi guitars, especially 6-strings with 2 humbuckers, and you don't want to pay for the USA or Japan one, because the Legion series are the cheapest guitars that they have on offer currently. So now I'm going to share some sound clips with you of me playing the guitar. One of them is using the synthesizer and the archetype, Neural DSP archetype Rebea plugin, so that's why it may sound a little different, and that's the one where it's like super dark. But yeah, just hear the sound clips. So this has been my review of the Abasi Larada Legion 6 in Austian White. Again, objectively, it is a really great guitar. I cannot stress that enough, but it just wasn't for me. But what did you think about the guitar? Feel free to let me know in the comments. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, stay cool like a cloud and have a great day.